and welcome to the show. We start this week's FailRace episode on Forza Horizon 5 with an off-road race, a cross-country race heading towards a jump, and I know what you're expecting to have happen. An air and overtake, something going particularly weird. This time it is an unusual bounce. I was expecting a car to fall through the floor, but no, the Bronco managing to land. It does get righted by the other AI cars, only for the game to immediately reset it as it's righted, but manages to bounce and do a front flip. It's the wrong direction of flip, but yeah, some physics has got unhappy. The best of Ginger next on Snow Running. Now, we've seen weird glitchy trucks. You can see something's going wrong in the sky. We don't quite know what's happened to the sky truck, but it's also Floor Truck that's having another... I don't know what's going on. It's in multiple dimensions. It's a interdimensional truck that doesn't know what position it should be in. It's somehow driving along. I've seen some weird stuff in SnowRunner, but I've never seen a glitchy truck be driving like that before. Dragon Hunter up next on Need for Speed Most Wanted. The FailRace Police Department actually brutally efficient in that particular crash. That was very, very effective squish against the wall on the Range Rover, but the Range Rover can keep going. And then the next FailRace Police Department manoeuvre, not quite as spectacular, incredibly spectacular, but the jump didn't quite work on that one. Douglas up next on Need for Speed Underground 2. Gets things a little bit wrong, clips the wall, ends up out wide into a traffic car. And then their Toyota gets stuck on said traffic car, and the game doesn't quite know what to do because the crash is both ongoing and not ongoing, really. The player actually has control of the vehicle while in the sort of crash cinematic camera. They get it reversed and then can carry on as well, but yeah, just a little bit confused. Killer Robot up next on Cyberpunk does the wise thing of saving the game before investigating something peculiar, because, well, that shouldn't happen. That definitely... A burnt-out wreck of a car should not be something that, well, a game lets you get in. Not that, I mean, there was a lot of fire. I would not be so keen on sitting in the car there's a lot of fire, but it definitely shouldn't drive considering there is no wheels, and I mean, when everything's burnt to pieces. So, yeah, that's... And it's perfectly normal. It's perfectly fine to go for a cruise and go for a wander around, and like, even from first person, everything, all the interiors burnt out, and yeah, for some reason the game decided that vehicle was still drivable. We stick with Cyberpunk up next with the ever sort of lucky dip of calling in a car. Now, we've seen this time and time again. Calling in a vehicle, you never really know what's going to happen. They called in their truck. It's the wrong side of the road. As they come towards it, it slams on the brakes and parks. Now, I've seen a couple do front flips with this, but that is some perfectly balanced parking right there. It's wonderfully parked. I don't actually know if you can do anything. I don't know if you can knock stuff over in Cyberpunk. I've not played it for ages, but there we go. Zenith up next on Rage 2 has a tank. And I mean, it looks like a tank is a pretty good choice for whatever they're doing here. You know, blowing just about everything up that it's coming across. Tanks are always good fun for these sort of things. However, this tank has a weakness. Yes, there is some debris on the floor, and the tank falls through the floor and then explodes, and all of the fun of the tank has been eradicated in that one. That's a quick way to fail a mission. We're on to a Far Cry up next with a sort of UTV kind of thing, and the player, for whatever reason, decides they want to release the brakes and roll it down a hill. I didn't know you could release brakes in the game. That's kind of a cool thing. It doesn't work anyway because it gets stuck on a tree. Oh well, not much going on here. They're just at the top of a hill when all of a sudden, attack plane! And then quickly vacate the scenery. I don't know. Why? Why did the seaplane appear upside down at 1,000,000 miles an hour? It bounced off a tree, flipped over. The acceleration from the flip was immense. It was so fast getting back into the sky. I mean, it was an attempt by the AI to splatter the players. It just wasn't a very good one. We head on to Destruction Derby 2 next. Probably one of the oldest games we've featured on this series. But anyways, the start of a round heads up to the middle, and the player car is off to space. Yep, we're all the way up to the skybox. That's not how it's supposed to go. I have a feeling. I mean, the rest of the crashing and so on is going on as expected. It's upside down, pushed to land on its roof. That's normal. Just, yeah, the huge space flight, less normal. Cobra up next on Midnight Club 3 is restarting a race. Now, it happens very quickly, but police car gets murdered by a snowplow for reasons. I don't know. You can just see from a pause video, it's not the longest of clips, but yeah, from the pause video, the police car actually got wiped out onto the motorway below as well. Wonderful crash. Wonderful crash. That one, not for the police car, but there we go. Calvin Toner up next on Gran Turismo 7 with one of the Super Formula cars, learning that, well, posts are bad. It wasn't even a curb-related jump, that one. That just hit the sort of like bollard on the inside, and that was enough to cause trouble for that car. Scotty up next on Assetto Corsa, racing around Thruxton, coming out of the final corner here. Gets things a little bit wrong, is a little wide, gets too much oversteer, clonks the wall, goes for a spin, and then the floor gets hungry for Praga. And now we're stuck halfway through the floor. I mean, the actual crash is a kind of an easy enough one, that's an easy one to do, bouncing around on the curbs and so on, but the floor's not supposed to eat your car. And finally, we have Chaos on BNG Drive, who is trying to deliver a very broken pigeon that, funnily enough, doesn't steer very well. Now, the AI car's about, so the player sort of stops it. They're trying to turn it away. It lightly dinks the AI car. Now, the AI, turns out, was not very impressed with this and decides that the pigeon has to die. I don't know. I didn't know this was a thing the AI could do in this game. This is one of my favourite clips because it's just everything is normal and then the AI goes on a murder spree. Well, tries to. The pigeon amazingly still works. But yeah, apparently you can piss them off to the point where they will just ruin your day. But there we go. That is going to be it for this video. As ever, if you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, you can via a Google form. There'll be a link to it in the description. All the rules and how it works can be found on there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.